So a very warm welcome to the final race, the very final race before Christmas, the men's 15-kilometre. It's some, 10, 11 minutes to go before the start. They've just finished the zeroing, the range is being swept and tidied, ready for the race itself. So 15-kilometre, the first of the mass starts, and so often the most exciting of races. The top 25 athletes on form in terms of the World Cup ranking, and then the athletes who have performed from further back in the field in terms of points over the last 2 days of racing will get an opportunity to start today as well. The fans have been incredible, and it really is such a great feeling to have the fans trackside. The spirits are high, and so it should be the success of the French team here. And I think they'll be hoping for more success today. And, well, why wouldn't they be with Fillon-Maillet, bib number 1, Jacqueline, bib number 3, Dessieux, bib number 9, Fabien Claude, 13, and Antonine Guiganat, 16. So some big names, some big players who are on form. So expectations are high in the stadium. Well, there is Jacqueline. He had set the fastest ski time yesterday. He went out, he attacked like a bull escaping from a gate. He just charged from the very start of his race. Didn't help his shooting, to be honest, in the standing. There's Dessieux. Latypov, his form has come really good in the last week or so of racing. Anderson there. Well, he's had a good day here. He came third on day one. Lukas Hofer, well, he finds himself bib 23, so in terms of his ranking, it hasn't been his best ever start to the season. Yep, here, yep. Yep. Yeah, quite amazing. What about Fillon-Maillet? The pressure. He said he experienced it 2 years ago and he felt so nervous, so he said got that out of the way, and he certainly seemed to control those nerves yesterday.
Shoot of his was something special. A man with confidence. He had obviously paced that last lap to perfection.
Yes, I thought he was tired last weekend, the last Sunday last week in the relay, but a few days off, a few days of light training, and the spirit being lifted by these fans makes a difference.
I'd forgotten that these masks are really just beard warmers. There was some ludicrous joke about if we wore condoms like we wear face masks, they'd all be on our thumbs. I think that is indicated here in the crowd in France. Let's hope there are no consequences of that. It would be such a shame after a brilliant weekend. Beautiful sunshine, hardly seen a cloud all weekend. This is the last event, the men's 15 mass start, first mass start of the season. This is the one that the spectators enjoy. Yes, they'd like to see more people involved, but you can't go around building 60-lane ranges.
And there is the track, Patrick. It is testing here. They've all said that. They know what this track feels like. And it's such a long climb from the range to the high point. Fairly easy back down into the range.
So humidity at 97%. Beautiful sunshine, still -6, so the snow's been in good condition throughout. These are just about the perfect conditions, perfect crowd and perfect racing. We've seen the best racing this year by some stretch. The pursuits were absolutely outstanding, and this morning's women's mass start again, Mike. Funny how your first win so often leads to your second.
Yes, and not even Elvira expected that. She said it couldn't happen Didn't she do well?
Yeah, interesting how by missing early on, she took the pressure off herself somewhat and then stayed icy cool, calm for the final two shoots.
So yes,
the Grand Bornand wave.
They're ready for the action.
Oh, I'm so jealous of these mountains. Can't keep my eye on the race. The views, the panoramas around here are something else. As we have a look at the start list, and of course it's based on essentially on World Cup ranking, and then down the bottom it's race based on those who've done well here at Le Grand Bornand in preparation for this final race. So Anderson comes in with a couple of cracking races, got his first podium. Povanitsyn, Eric Lesser with his brilliant recovery in the pursuit gets in at 28. Bourmalini, Sarok Vostov is there as well. There's your number 2, Seb Samuelsson. It'd be interesting. What do you think the tactics will be, Mike? Someone's going to go hard early on. I wonder whether we'll see anyone brave enough to hold back.
I think there won't be a sort of sportsman agreement, or let's take an easy first 3Ks. That is not going to happen. I just get the feeling that Jacquelin is going to go out front and just really try and hurt everybody before the first shoot. But they will, I'm quite sure, try and stay with him if that is the case.
Yeah, Jacquelin and Samuelsson are the two fastest generally this season. So they're speed merchants. Do you play to your strength, or do you take it a bit easy and try and increase your chances of hitting the targets? It's a gamble, whatever you do, and we will see who comes out on top. Christiansen, full of confidence. Johannes Tingesbø, Mike, you know, yesterday would have put him back where he was prior to his win in the sprint.
Well, yes, he didn't have the spark, did he, on the track that he showed on Friday in the sprint competition. He had all of his old magic back. I hope he can find it back today again.
Latypov there wearing bib number 5. It's been a great season for him so far, lying 5th in the World Cup standings, 2nd in the sprint, 2nd in the pursuit yesterday. Can he get a 3rd successive podium? 4th successive if you include the relay in Hogfelsen last week. There's Jacquelin, generally reckoned to be the quickest man this weekend. Tried some sort of slightly unorthodox tactics in the pursuit. It didn't work. He's got to switch places with his teammate. They don't want to be getting disqualified for starting in the wrong place. And Phil Maillet, who is the man who heads the World Cup table, 315 points. The man alongside him has 312. The man 2 along from him has 311. And the man behind him has 307. It is so tight going into Christmas. That's going to be a much coveted yellow bib. Who will have it round the Christmas dinner? Phil Maillet, I think, probably favourite, Mike. Not just because he's got a couple of points advantage, but his performance in the pursuit was majestic.
So they're ready on starters' orders to get underway. The final race, 15 kilometers mass start.
The countdown has started. Here we go, the best 30 in the world in terms of their ranking over the season plus this week, so no one has been left out of this one. It is all out fire at the front. There are plenty of Norwegians, but they do not dominate the World Cup table at the moment. The best Norwegian is Christiansen in 4. They've got Bø in 6, Bø in 7. That's Johannes Tingis now just ahead of his brother. But France with Phil Maillet in the yellow bib, and that's who the fans will be cheering. And they'll be hoping that Jacquelin can get himself on the podium as well.
Well, the first little skip over the bridge, Patrick, it's quite a steep little climb. You don't carry any speed into it from the direction they're coming now, but you do over some of the bridges on the way back down the valley. Very economical at the back there. I think it's Bourmalini, I'm not sure. Hopefully we'll see who that is at the very back.
Well, I've got a good question for you, Mike. just hearing that Phil Maillet is the 7th Frenchman to wear yellow. And I wonder how many of those you can name before him.
Patrice Bailly-Salins is one.
Certainly.
Of course, the great Martin Fourcade.
Exactly.
Raph Poiré is definitely one as well.
Okay, 3, 4 to go.
Now I'm in trouble. Dessous, I think, no, he did not with, go on, Enlighten.
Vincent Defrin, Simon Fourcade held it after a really good Östersund one year.
Held it
and
for,
Simon Destieux. They've all had a taste of yellow. I wonder how long Phil Maillet can hang on to it. But it's Samuelsson who leads at the moment for Sweden. Just listen to the crowds. This is what racing is all about. I tell you what, the Alpine races would be jealous of these numbers, this noise, this much enthusiasm.
And the great aspect is that you nearly have this depth of spectators all the way around the track. And it's quite rare that is the situation in biathlon. Normally the stadium is where you want to be, but all the way around this track, it just gives the athletes a better feeling, and especially for the Frenchmen.
Yeah, pedestrian pace. Samuelsson is not pushing it. He may decide to open up a gap at the top of this climb. And you can see the names and the numbers as they go through. Ligrid is there. Incidentally, the world champion, Stølholm Ligrid, shot 19 out of 20 to win the mass start in Pachuca last year. Winning time, 36.27. Is that Lucas Hopper right at the back?
It's Eric Lesser. He's just, since the start, he's not wanted to get involved at all, just totally focusing in on his own fairly economical pace.
Well, we may see him prepare and shoot very quickly and work his way up through the field, but there's no way through that group, Mike. There's no point fighting.
No, and when you are exactly that, and Eric, he's the wise old owl in this group, not the oldest, maybe the 3rd oldest, but there is no point, as you say, to put a lot of effort in from the back to gain 3 or 4 places. And now he is coming back into the group. They're only separated by, what, 7 seconds.
Well, I just can't get over the atmosphere here, and I hope in the future that the IBU make a real effort to make sure that venues provide spectator space out on the tracks as well. Group holding, absolutely mobbed with people, but very few of the tracks have spectators on. This is what we need, and I was wondering whether this was the Phil Maillet-Simon effect, because those two have done so well here in France that our numbers look to have doubled from yesterday.
Yes, and I think as a spectacle, this one where you've got all the big names, all those on form, side by side, it's the real battle. There's a lot of egos in here as well. Nobody really has taken this pace fast. Jacqueline, there he is in 2nd place. I thought he might want to try and do some damage, but clearly not. The pace is picking up now.
Yeah. This is where Lesser has to be a bit wary at the back of the field, because Johannes Tingersbø has had enough. He's moved into the front, and for someone like him, Mike, to ski really slowly can be harder work than skiing at his normal training pace.
Well, yes, he clearly wants to feel that, and this is the extra part of the track. We haven't really seen this section. It was used in the sprint competition, but now the recovery section after the hard work, and it's not a leg recovery section, it's a breathing recovery section.
France, Sweden, Norway, the dominant nations. Russia at the back of that leading group at the moment with Latipov and Loginov. The first shoot generally splits this group in half. 50% should hit 5. Conditions don't come much better than this, Mike. -6, the cold isn't an issue. The wind has been pretty insignificant throughout. So maybe we'll see 20 go clear.
I think we will, Patrick. It's such mild, easy, no influence at all, and that is quite rare, isn't it, for a weekend of racing, to not have even one day where the wind has been an influence on how the targets are hit or missed.
So last little climb before they come over the hill and down into the stadium for shoot number 1, number 21 going through. That's Kalili, the youngster in the Russian team. Well, he's not so young now, but he once upon a time he was an absolutely brilliant junior. So we'll see how he gets on. Hasn't had too much experience of this World Cup mass start and the mayhem that goes with it. You ever wondered whether biathlon was popular in France? Well, you've got your answer this weekend. Actually, last year was obviously quiet. Well, the last time we were here, it was a raucous occasion. Fielmaillet will draw response with every shot that he lets go. 20 out of 20 in the pursuit. He wants more of the same today. Samuelsson, fast, he can win, he has won this season, but he's not been consistent. First to strike, back and up the far end, but he didn't have so far to ski, so that is why. Fielmaillet, very quick, working left to right. 3 out of 3 so far. Number 4 goes wide to give Samuelsson an opportunity. Latyapov, guess what? 5 out of 5. Lygrid, the world champion, hits 5. Loginov goes clear. Kern of Germany, who won in Hogfilsen, he's gone 5. He moves up into the top 10. And Benny Vega of Switzerland, another good shoot from him, but plenty of victims on that first shoot. Tarja Burt is clear. Johannes Burt, I didn't see how many he missed, Mike, but he must be on the loop.
He is. He missed one. Real shame for Johannes, but if you're going to miss, in his mind, he'll be thinking, OK, I've missed. I need the next 15.
Yeah, and he comes out behind Fielmaillet so he can get a toe back towards the front. Samuelsson misses as well. The speed merchants have all thrown at least one wide. Benny Doll amongst them, coming out in 24th position and quite a significant time margin.
Oh, Jacquelin, sorry, that was Fielmaillet. First one was very high left. That was a miss to the left. I would imagine he'll get some information on how to adjust his sights before the next time in prone shooting. Well, I think we expected this the last time around, but Jacquelin deciding to, having been 4 seconds behind as he left the range, he's completely destroyed, caught up the 4 seconds, and now completely broken away from the rest of those chasing.
Yeah, if he hits the next 5, he's going to get one almighty tear. This is a very early bid for glory. We said 20 may go clear. In fact, in the end, 19 went clear, but 4 athletes missing 2 targets. Ponsaloma, Detieu, Anderson, Smolsky all missing 2, and that puts them a good 48, 49 seconds behind Jacquelin, and that could be extended to a full minute by the time Jacquelin comes in for his next shoot.
I'm very surprised that Smolsky missed 2. His form on the range has been excellent.
Well, be interesting to see the pulse rates, wouldn't it, Mike? I suspect Jacquelin a good 5 to 10 beats higher than everyone else. Latyapov still controlling things. He's a good relay man, Latyapov. He's very, very steady, level-headed performer. Never gets too excited, but always produces the goods.
I'm quite amazed with Jacquelin. I love his fighting spirit and his fearless approach to biathlon. Many would say that's not a great idea to attack so much on lap 2 of 5 3-kilometer laps.
Fielmaillet 30 seconds behind now, having come out of the range 22. So Jacquelin has taken 8 seconds out of Fielmaillet and Johannes Burt. That tells you everything you need to know about the pace that he is going at the moment. Now, he did do this on the 3rd loop of the pursuit, Mike, before the first standing shoot, and it didn't pay off.
It really didn't pay off, and I thought maybe with that recent bad experience, it may not be wise to do it again, but I did... on the range when he came in for his prone, he really took his time. He got very comfortable in his position, so he didn't stress, he didn't push the pace in terms of shooting.
So through 4.5, next shoot in 500 meters time. Remember, In fact, a little more. It's a 3-kilometre loop, so another 1,500 metres to go for Jacquelin before the next shoot.
Well, that really has completely shaken up the field. I don't think they were expecting it. There's Eric Lesser. He came into the range 12 seconds behind at the very back, and he went out in 15th position on 10.7.
Yeah. So he gained he gained 15 places on one shoot alone. That's the wise old performance from Eric Lesser, and glad to see that he's having a much better start to the season. Guigenot racing for France. We'll keep an eye on him. He's wearing bib number 16. He did miss on that first shoot, so he's in the second group. Jacquelin in the distance.
Just trying to have a look at Johannes Tingesbo. He left the range 21st, and he's now in 20th position. He's gained, in fact, he's lost time. He's lost 8 seconds. 8 seconds.
Yeah, he was at 22.
But that's to Jacquelin, who's destroying everybody.
It seldom works. It seldom works. But I wonder, Mike, whether he's trying to take an advantage on his prone shoot, which is better. He's got an 89% hit rate, and then maybe allow himself to take the standing loop, the standing shoot loops a little bit slower, because his rate is down at 76.
Maybe, well, he had that bad experience from doing exactly this yesterday, but maybe he thought about it last night, and small aspects he might change when he comes into the range. Take 5 more seconds, possibly.
Latipov up in second position, just behind Fabien Claude, who's having a good race, had a good race in the pursuit as well, all the way from 40th up to 14th position. Got to be happy with that. And the chasing group, what do we got in there? 3 Norwegians. 4 Norwegians, in fact. The French are there in numbers, and at the back of that group we got obviously Latipov. Smolsky is still there for Belarus, going well, and Russia with Latipov and Loginov. Johannes Kern is the best of the Germans. We've got Nora a bit further back.
Well, generally that strap isn't allowed to come past the elbow. It's up on the shoulder. Needs to be careful. I think he will take his time. He came into the range with, what was that, 8-second advantage.
I think the crowd are starting to feel it might be his day. Are they going to get their second winner in a weekend? Possibly. Lygrid, though, has gone clear. Always dangerous. You don't win the world title without being good at the mass start. Kern and Lesser and Leitner and Ada hit 5 apiece. The 2 Austrians moving up through the ranks. Ada was only just in front of Eric Lesser on the first loop, Mike. So he's made good ground and has got himself, where's he coming out? Top 10? I should think so.
Yes,
there he goes.
Pretty good.
Simon at 20.5. He has to be happy with that.
Johannes Tingesbo, he's missed another target, 1 out of 5. So penalty loop again for Johannes Tingesbo.
Yeah, Christiansen on the penalty loop, Loginov on the penalty loop. Anderson still on the range, having missed 2 earlier on. Now let's see where these have gone. A little bit high. That was smack in the middle, and he finishes it off with a low right, but all 5 targets down. All 5 targets down, the gamble paying off. He built himself an 8-second lead coming into the range. He's gone out with exactly the same, 8.5 clear of Kern and Lygrid and Terrier-Burt.
Well, he knows exactly what he's doing if we base it on his second prone. And he did take his time. He maybe extended 2 or 3 seconds more than he would normally before he released the first shot. And away he goes again. He'll probably try and look for another 8 seconds gain on the track.
Yeah, I don't think Jacquelin is going to improve on this performance until the World Championships are held in France. You know, he will never have experienced anything like this. He won't get anything like this at the Olympic Games, certainly not this time round.
Well, there were
what is the margin?
There were 19 with the perfect shoot in the after the first time in. Now there's 13 still with the perfect score.
That's just about standard. And those numbers tend to get halved with each of the standing shoots, so we'd expect 6 or 7 to come through that first standing shoot unscathed of those who've cleared all 10 targets so far. Now, remember, last time round, the gap was 8 seconds. When he came out of the range, it was 8.5. And Lygrid, as the man who has been on form in mass starts.
Well, he's gained another
Still in third, yeah.
7 seconds to this point. That is incredible. I mean, we very rarely see such pace by one athlete breaking the rest of the field by such margins. So Jacquelin, he's having a very inspired day.
Yeah, but it's still only half a penalty loop, Mike. He can't afford to miss a target as yet.
It's still pretty superhuman. It's incredible, isn't it? And I think that his strategy there to hurt those alongside him, many of those who went with his pace or tried to chase his pace were missing targets.
Yeah, we got a quick train there. Phil Maillet, Dole, Johannes Tingesbo, Seb Samuelson. They, though, have to be perfect from here on in if they want to look at the top 3 today. Here's the man in charge. He's the man who set the pace, and in fact he's setting a pace that no one else can match. 8 seconds clear after the last loop. It looks closer to what's it going to be, 18 seconds. They're still a long way behind, but now he just starts to wind it down a little at the top of this long hill.
Actually, just looking at the times, Johannes Tingesbo is probably the second fastest from the range to that split time. He's only lost 3 seconds to Jacquelin.
25 seconds, the fastest shoot on the second prone. Simoneda, Bakken and Saruk Vostov amongst their number. Smolsky also from Belarus, a 25-second shoot. Jacquelin taking 32, so he didn't rush it, Mike. He did not rush it at all.
Yes, so he said the strategy very different. What's going to happen now, though, that worries me a little. If he lets the first shot go at 12 seconds like he did yesterday, after a pace like this, I think he may find himself in trouble again. He missed 3 on that strategy yesterday.
Lygrid and Tardia both for Norway up the front of this group. Johannes Kern is there, Mike. That win in Hogfilson, I think, raising his spirits. He looks a much more confident, much more dangerous biathlete than he has done in the past. And a word for Sapala, Timo Sapala for Finland, wearing bib number 17. There he is in the slightly white suit with a few blue stripes. He's had a tremendous season.
And he does he likes the mass start. Leitner is another one of those athletes who loves or seems to raise his game. Leitner's in 7th position at the moment. But this is where it really gets serious, the first of the 2 stand shoots coming up.
Well, I guess there are only 2 things that can beat Jacquelin now. The first and most obvious is his shooting. Should he collapse on either the 3rd or the 4th shoot, then it won't be long before his lead is swallowed up. And the other might possibly that he's pushed the pace too hard, but he's still looking good. He's obviously feeling fantastic. He's got a great pair of skis on his feet.
We never, well, throughout the history of the mass start, it's so rare we have one athlete who's bold enough, strong enough to keep on trying to break the pack, and he is achieving it now 2 out of 3 laps.
Here come the masses, and with Jacquelin a comfortable margin clear, he may well have completed his standing shoot. If he's quick, he might get the 5 away before they settle on the mat next door to him. It's more likely they'll arrive just as he's letting number 2 or 3 go. This is a big test. He didn't have it all his own way in the stand yesterday. He went 0-0 and then he missed 2 and 3 in the stand. He needs 5. Let's take this all the way to the final shoot. Here we go. The Pursuit World Champion looking to win a mass start at home. There's your first mistake. Well, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
That is not bad. And I wonder whether that's what the hard skiing is all about.
He'll nearly...
Lessons on the charge.
There was a 17-second advantage into the range, so he may well get out before the rest shoot their 5 shots down.
Yeah, Ligrid's taking his time, and he's missed. Benny Vega could be coming out in second. Christiansen's gone 5 with 5. Keeping an eye on Fabian Cloud has gone 5 with 5. We're going to have 2 Frenchmen up in the lead. They'll both be in podium positions as they exit, and Jacquelin is still in the lead by 0.8 of a second, despite having done a penalty loop. And brilliant racing from Leitner, who's got himself up in a second. So all change after shoot number 3, but Jacquelin's tactics so far have paid off.
And what about Johannes Tingesbo from 18th to 8th on the range? Very fast, very solid approach, and he must have hit all 5 in around 23 seconds.
Yeah, and Ligrid is down, just looking at the shooting times. Fabian Cloud was the quickest with 21.7. Phil Maillet, 22.7. Leitner, 22.7. And Gigenart has just come in to trump them all. A 20.5 second shoot. Just waiting to see where Gigenart comes out. I don't think all the targets went down. Well, he was half a second clear. I think he'll be wanting to do the same, won't he, Mike? Take the lead up to 10 seconds again. Might not be so easy this time around. I'm
a little surprised often when you come off the penalty loop. Yes, you've been annoyed, you've missed a target. You've pushed very hard around the penalty loop. He hasn't quite got the lead that he had at this point last time around, but he's doing the same again.
Leitner has got a personal best of second. He did that in a mass start last year in Oberhof. So he has been here before. I can't remember what position Leitner was in coming into the last shoot. I don't think he was in the top 3 on that occasion.
Yes, and he struggled on the track. He was in first and second place and then eventually dropping down. Well, I'm impressed with Leitner daring to go with Jacquelin's pace, and I think he might haul him back in. Further down the field, Samuelson, it's important for Samuelson. He's second in the World Cup ranking, only 3 points behind, but he finds himself in 18th, and you don't get many points when you're 18th. He needs a good final time into the range. .3 to play with. He certainly can't afford a penalty loop this time should the chasers hit targets. There's Phil Maillet. He has matched Johannes Tingesbo pretty much shot for shot so far today. Johannes looks to be tiring a little. Phil Maillet has closed the gap to 17. Ligrid with a miss drops to 25 behind. Anyone within 25 seconds has a chance of winning this, but you are relying on other athletes making mistakes. Exactly, and then there were 4. Only 4 athletes now have hit 15 out of 15. It was 19, then it was 13, now there's 4. The stand really knocks those numbers back.
Yeah, are you prepared to say, Mike, that if you don't hit 5 on this last shoot, you're not going to win?
Let's have a look. I think Jacquelin, depends what happens, doesn't it? In those trailing 4, I think he can afford another miss and still come out. Whether he's got any energy left on the last lap, it's debatable. He is definitely beginning to fade at the front there, and most humans, most exceptional cross-country skiers would begin to feel the pain.
But if he hits 5 on the last stand shoot, then maybe he'll have enough left in the tank. Fabian Cloud, great run so far. There he is, lying in third, just ahead of Christiansen of Norway, who's a good shot. Benny Vega with his best race of the season so far. A little up and down for Benny so far this year. Started well in Östersund with 2 top 15 results. And then just the last couple of races dropped outside the top 20. But it's been a solid start for the Swiss number 1. 14th place in the World Cup rankings. But a top 3 would be sensational for him going into the Christmas break. Jacquelin, Mike, 16 podium finishes. Only 2 of those have been victories. Both of them were World Championships. And that fact alone tells you that he doesn't mind the pressure. But I don't think he'll ever have felt pressure quite like this.
No, I think this at home, he saw what his teammate Fillon Maillet did yesterday. He really wants that to be his day today. He's been brave. I mean, he hasn't held back. He's absolutely taken the race by the scruff of its neck. He's just completely putting all caution to the wind. I hope his legs are better than they were when he came in for the last shoot yesterday.
19 out of 20 so far. Leitner has pulled away from the rest of the chasers. He's leaving Cloud and Christiansen and Vega behind him. There's the Austrian going through. PB of second, remember. Is he going to get his first ever win? It's quite possible. And look who's starting to come up on the outside. It's Fillon Maillet, who made a similar move in the pursuit yesterday to get onto the shoulder of Jacquelin. And then, of course, he produced the fastest shoot of the day, the best shoot of the day, to take the victory. It is possible we're going to see an action replay, and I do not think that Jacquelin wants to see the yellow bib arriving on the firing point.
Quite amazing. Fillon Maillet, I thought his energy had gone. I thought he was a spent force. He definitely is not a spent force, but he has already missed 2. He needs 5 to take this win.
Well, he's gained some 11 seconds on Jacquelin on this loop alone, so I guess he calculated he couldn't leave his charge any later. And for once, Jacquelin is not going to have the firing point to himself. This is where he tries to bring the pulse rate down. It's where he tries to calm his head, which must be thinking 1,000 thoughts at once. He's got to concentrate on just one. The small black dots that lie at 50 meters distance. He's back in the stand position. The condition of the legs is absolutely crucial at this stage of the race. The breathing looks to be under control, but instead of 150 meters, he's only got a 50-meter advantage. The chasers are there. 14 out of 15 so far. Can he get his 3rd ever World Cup win in front of home fans? Has to get 5. This is what Jacquelin did, Fillon Maillet did yesterday.
Fantastic.
That is the answer. Absolutely sensational. Leitner, he's shooting for a podium place. He needs 5. He's got 5. Fillon Maillet goes clear. The chase is on, and Jacquelin is far from safe, having used up so much energy earlier on. And the Norwegians, represented by Christiansen and Bo, we've got 5 leading the stadium within 15 seconds of each other. This could go any way. How much has Jacquelin got left in the tank? He's 12 seconds clear of Fillon Maillet, and Fillon Maillet took 12 seconds out of him on the last loop alone.
Amazing. How dare we not criticise, but look at the options for Jacquelin. He knew exactly what he wanted to do today, and those 5 shots were quite amazing.
Well, he can see the clear snow behind him. He can see the chasers. He knows exactly what he's got to do. Fillon Maillet already up into 2nd place, so it's France 1 and 2. Things get better and better for the home nation in Le Grand Bornand. The Norwegians won't give up the chase quite yet. Will it be Christiansen or Tarjei Bø who finishes top amongst the Norwegians?
Well, Tarjei Bø, he always loves this race. He was the overall small crystal globe winner in this event last year, but he now needs to find top ski speed.
How about that? Leitner is now skiing for his life. Leitner put in a quick loop last time round. We've got Christiansen in 4, Talia Bö in 5 at the moment. Doesn't look to be clawing back any time on Leitner, but we've still got a long way. Remember, it's a 15-kilometre race. They've yet to get to the 13.5-kilometre stage.
Johannes Tingesbro, Patrick, I don't know if you saw it, he missed 3 on the last time. He went for absolutely rapid-fire shooting, and in an instant, he found himself with 3 penalty loops added on. Yeah,
his season goes from bad by his standards to worse. Fielmayer with a look over his shoulder. He sees that he's opened up the gap on Felix Leitner, which may get him relaxed. Leitner now has 2 Norwegians, 1 on each shoulder, so he's in a spot of bother. Jacquelin at the moment just crabbing his way up. What's he got? 3 more little climbs to go. He's almost done all the hard work. Fielmayer breaking away from the rest of the chasers. He was at 12.1 coming out of the range last time round.
Fielmayer's definitely trying to go for this victory. He's running out of time with just 2 kilometres left, but he's got fantastic tempo up that climb.
Oh, fantastic burst of speed there from Talia Bö to go from 5th up into 3rd in the space of 20 metres. Leitner's been pushed down out off the podium. Christiansen looks as though his life has ebbed away. He's no response to Leitner whatsoever, so his legs are spent. Christiansen, shooting-wise, he's hit 19 out of 20 today. Leitner, the only man to hit all 20 targets. Absolutely brilliant from him.
That's quite incredible, especially when Leitner has had to go at a pace that we have not seen him skiing at all this season. He's lifted his game on the track. He's done the perfection on the range. He's having a fantastic day.
I guess the writing was on the wall in Hochfilzen, where the French got a 1-2-3 in the pursuit there. They're going 1 and 2 in Le Grand Bornand, and it will mean a whole lot more than their success in the Hochfilzen pursuit, simply because their men are out front, and they've not just won, Mike, they've won in style. The final shoot yesterday from Fielmayer was brilliant. The final shoot today from Jacquelin, whose record in the stand is nowhere near as good, was absolutely outstanding. And I hope we get to see a replay of that at the end.
He's lifted his game. The moment, it's a huge moment for Jacquelin, and he absolutely passed every test, coping with the pressure, coping with the pace on the track. I don't know how he's still living with the pace that he has set. Fielmayer's pulled 2 more seconds back.
Yeah, Christiansen's in trouble. Johannes Kern is going to get him before the end of this one. 1,500 metres still to go. And Christiansen needs a long, long downhill of recovery to try and get something back into his legs for the final uphills.
Talia Bö is still trying to get that 2nd place. He's left Leitner behind, but he's trying to close down on Fielmayer. Not an easy task.
Yeah, but he has closed the gap. I'm just wondering whether Fielmayer is happy to see his teammate take the win here.
Well, he certainly tried and kept on trying to catch him. I think he's realising there isn't much time left to close those 10 seconds.
Well, fortune favours the brave, and that was an outstandingly brave performance from Jacquelin. He went early, he went on the 2nd loop after a very pedestrian 1st loop. We questioned the move, but we had all sorts of theories. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he wanted a bit of leeway before coming to the standing shoot, where so far this season he has made too many mistakes. I don't think Fielmayer will lose this 2nd place. He is hanging in there, but Talia Bö, he's also done 14 Ks, and he's not got a lot of strength left at his age as well. It's a brilliant run. Remember, he was #1 in the world way back in 2011.
Well, Fielmayer, that little look over his left shoulder, that tells me he's given up for this 1st place. In fact, this 1st place is impossible for anyone else except Jacquelin.
Yeah, I thought he was just cleaning his face, ready for the cameras when he crosses the line. rather than checking out on Italia. A bit of both, maybe. So for the second day in succession, the French get a long ski into the finish with the national flag. The tricolour never flown more proudly than here in Le Grand Bornand. Absolutely brilliant 2 days of biathlon. And the French, who struggled to win here for so long, finally show us how it is done. Jacquelin, the pursuit world champion, takes the win here in the mass start. Phil Maillet, who won yesterday, second place, extends his lead in the overall World Cup. And a brilliant podium finish for Tadej Bo. Good result for Felix Leitner. Doesn't quite match his PB, but fourth will do. Christiansen, solid on the range, 19 hits out of 20. And Johannes Kern shows us that his success in Hogfilsen was not a flash in the pan. He comes home as the #1 German ahead of Benny Doll.
That was spectacular, that was brave, it was everything you wanted biathlon. Jacquelin showed us how it can be done today.
So that got on Bakken. Bakken just checking how many targets he left standing. 45 seconds behind, just one target missed today for Bakken. Samuelson at 9th position, 4 misses. Samuelson, 4 misses. He cannot afford that if he wants to be in contention come the end of the season. A really impressive couple of days. Mike, do we now talk in terms of France getting yet another overall World Cup winner?
It's, you know, it's looking, the shooting is good. The ski speed has not troubled the 3-4 best Frenchmen at all. They really are contenders with fabulous shooting, like missing just 1 out of 20 today.
Johannes Tingesbo down in an ignominious number 20, 127, and all down to the targets. 5 targets left standing from Johannes Tingesbo, 150 meters for each one. You cannot give that sort of time gap away. Where did Guigenard come in? 16th place for Guigenard, which is a great run, but he's still the 4th of the Frenchmen. So there's plenty of pressure on him. Surely he'll be on the plane to China, Guigenard.
Yes, he's a safe bet. His shooting, really, that's his weakness. Today was better. He's only missed 2, but only 1 minute 15 off the lead time.
Eric Lesser, who featured early on, Mike, things went wrong for him. What was it, the first stand?
Yes, picking up, I think it was maybe 2, so 0-0 and then 2, and possibly a second time in standing 2. That's the risk with fast shooting.
Yeah, a total of 4 targets missed for Eric Lesser. There he is, 2:30 the margin. 4 penalty loops, probably worth a minute 50 on the penalty loop, plus an extra 5 seconds of fatigue each time you have to ski after that. And a nice easy ski into the line for Roman Rees before he gets the skis off, packs his bag, starts to think about Christmas and his preparations for the next phase of the World Cup, the Biathlon Trophy event. Yeah. The ultimate sportsman, Tadej Bo. He's been around long enough to know just how good that French performance was. And everyone saw Jacquelin break away. No one was prepared to go with him. I'm not sure anyone could have gone with him, but you know, they were probably saying, Mike, haha, we've seen this before.
They probably were, and I was thinking it's almost suicidal, but he kept pushing and pushing. He wanted this win today more than anybody else, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
7 misses for Ponsaloma. You can only miss 1 or 2 in the mass start nowadays, and Jacquelin missed 1 on the first stand. His final stand was out of this world. Out of this world. Just looking for the time taken on that final shoot. He wasn't the quickest, but he did a 23.1 once he got that first target down, just rattled through them. Guigenard with the fastest shoot on the final shoot, 22.1. It's not often you see a Norwegian at the back of the pile, but it's Andersen's turn after a podium in the sprint earlier in the week. 7 misses, and he comes in 30th position. He still gets 1 World Cup point for his troubles, but unable to back his sprint win up with another good performance. So there's confirmation of the top 10. It's a French affair with Jacquelin, Fillmaier 1 and 2. Tadebo does well for the Norwegians, up in third. Leitner so close to the podium for 4. And Christiansen, the second of the Norwegians. Mr. Consistency, Christiansen, this year. You can bet your bottom dollar he will be in the Norwegian team come the Olympic relay. Further down the order, Mike, Lucas Hoffer, Lygrid, names, Eric Lesser, Ponsaloma, names that really should have been on the previous sheet of the results.
Yes, I think what happened to Lygrid, he desperately tried to stay with this man earlier on in the race, and when you give a pace change that that really is going to trip you up later, I think that is what's happened to Lygrid. He stayed for about 3 kilometres at a pace way above his comfort zone, and that really has tied him up. He did only miss 2 targets though, but finds himself in 21st.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it before, but not today, that Jacquelin has a history of bike riding. He loves his riding, and they do a lot of sprinting. So I wonder whether he's more adept at coping with small periods of full-on, 100% effort, and then recovering quickly from that.
Well, he showed spectacular recovery today under great pressure.
So there we go, the
he's in yellow.
Total score. Jacquelin goes yellow. Well, that is a surprise. He did start the day only 311 behind. It's Fillmaier pushed down into second. Apologies there. I thought Fillmaier just hung on. But as you can see, just 2 points in it. France 1 and 2 in the World Cup table after today's effort. And Christiansen going up ahead of Seb Samuelson. So good day's work from him. Tadebo goes ahead of his brother with his effort today, finishing in 3rd place. Simoneda down at 21. He was up in the top 10 early season thanks to some really good shooting. And Kalili not having a bad effort at all for the first third of the season, the first trimester as they call it.
Well, Jacquelin has learned so much, hasn't he, from the great Martin Fourcade, and with Martin being back here, they're very good friends. I'm quite sure a lot of good advice would have been given to Jacquelin from him today, and just having Martin Fourcade here has probably helped Jacquelin, who used to share a room with him.
Well, it all started just about 40 minutes ago. The first mass start of the season. The French in yellow with Fillmaier. They keep the yellow bib, but it has switched from Fillmaier to Jacquelin. Early mistakes from Fillmaier. Actually, his shooting was below par today, 18 out of 20. And that allowed his teammate Jacquelin to get away. Latiapov was there or thereabouts for the first half of the race, but in the end missed 3 targets and couldn't manage a top 10 slot, a rarity for this season. Martin Fourcade always fancied Jacquelin as a future champion. He didn't have to wait long. He notched up a pursuit world title in Antolz, then went to Pachuca in the next World Championships and retained the pursuit title. Today he gets his 3rd victory on the World Cup Tour, his first in the mass start, and probably the one that means the most to him. He will never race in a situation where so many fans support him until we come here and perhaps at a World Championships in Le Grand Bornand. That was brilliant. How is that for a good feeling going into the Christmas break?
Yes, just exactly what he wanted, and to be wearing yellow after Christmas, well, for many it doesn't work out well. Just one day in yellow for Fillmaier, but maybe Jacquelin has another plan.
9 races gone, 13 still to go for the season.
Emilien, what a fantastic performance. It's a first ever mass start win, and I think to do it here, it must be so special.
Yeah, I wanted to do it with my own personality, with my skills. I knew that I was great on the skis this week. So as in the race in Shushan at the beginning of the season, I decided to attack and don't be afraid about the shooting range as yesterday. Yesterday I was really nervous, and yeah, today I wanted to show to my coach, to all the fans that, excuse me for the expression, but I have a big balls, and yeah, I'm really proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, apologies to anyone offended for that, but you all know what he means, and he certainly has. Affirmative. That was a very, very brave performance indeed. He's come away with the win and the 60 points and the yellow bib. He reaps the rewards. As we said earlier on, fortune favours the brave. I was really, really impressed with that performance. And actually, Mike, a bit of a wake-up call to the Norwegians, certainly a wake-up call to Johannes Tingesbo. Phil Maillet realises he's got someone who can match him. So the French now, rather than having one superstar, they've got two.
They really have, and especially when you can shoot, and that's Fillon Maillet on a bad day for him, missing 2. It's exceptional. You can still win races. There he is on the podium, having missed 2 targets. So they're challenging, and they're there to stay. The speed is so good. But that was a brave, brave strategy today from Jacquelin.
Yeah, not many can do that. We've seen what a brilliant technician he is on the last lap. He has out-sprinted Johannes Tingesbo on many, many occasions. There is Martin Fourcade, the man that promised Jacquelin would be a future star. Certainly that turned out to be the case. And
it's Vincent Vito there, the boss, former cross-country skier that came over to the biathlon team, and I think he's done a very good job bringing the team together, maybe a little more, giving spirit. They've always worked well together, but he's added another little X factor to the team.
yeah, certainly the arrival of Vincent was when the French skiing improved. You know, Martin was already up the top, but the rest of the squad, they did much more strength training. They turned up fitter, stronger, faster, and that was really very little work with Vincent Vito. Very little in terms of time. I'm sure there was plenty of work that went into the improvements.
Well, they couldn't have scripted the successes here that the French team have had. It's just been something of a surprise. They've always, and the great Martin Fourcade, we saw him there. He didn't like the pressure here. He didn't cope with it well the first time, nor the second time. Yeah. And then he did eventually get one victory here in the mass start.
Yeah, great scenes. Great scenes, and the party so often spoilt by Johannes Tingesbo and Tyrrell Eckhoff, but both of those athletes are out of sorts at the moment. It won't stay that way for the whole season. I have no doubt they'll be back to contend, but today, no doubt about the winner. The fastest, not the best shot, but he's still got 95% hit rate. That will do when you can take 8 seconds out of everyone on one lap. And Tingesbo, he knows what he witnessed today, and he knows that he was no match for that.
Let's go, guys! Let's go!
So he's required for the prize-giving ceremony.
It's not just the victory, is it, Mike? It's the manner in which he won. It was that courageous final shoot. There will have been a few nerves in the stands, but he didn't seem to have any of them. Knew exactly what he was going to do when he came in. And maybe that's the key. Decide on your strategy before you come in. Don't change your mind halfway through.
Yes, and I think you do have to map that. If you think about that the night before, if you've been there before, he would have talked himself through those scenarios. He coped by yesterday by breaking the field, by getting away from the field. They couldn't catch him, so he knew those outcomes. But to hit his last 5, that was exceptional. And he was so unbelievably solid through the rifle. There was no risk of those shots missing.
Yeah, but just to put it in context, Mike, if you came into the final shoot, how many times out of 100 would you hit 5 in that situation and doing it in 22 seconds?
Oh, you would say that's twice in 100. It's very rare under that scenario, that pressure with these spectators. So clearly he loves to raise his game. You need to be a bit of a show-off, and everybody's got that inside them, but I think he loves the audience, and that's a great aspect for any athlete to have.
Yeah, in many ways that finished off the race. It would have been interesting to see what would happen had he missed one and come out of the range 10 seconds behind Fillon-Maillet instead of 10 seconds in front of him. A moment of reflection for Jacquelin. It won't sink in until late into the night, or maybe even tomorrow morning. Teammate and friend, no doubt. I don't think a single spectator has moved out of the stands. Quite a few have come down from the tracks where we've had better support than we've had. I can't remember an event where we've had this much support out on the tracks.
Yes, certainly you bring back memories of Ruhpolding, 25,000 people there, Oberhof, 24,000 people, but this feels different. The energy from the spectators, quite amazing.
Yeah, Oberhof, you have them on the last climb, but that's the only point on the course that you actually see them. And Martin Fourcade, part of the medal presentation party. That is a nice touch, And he's still one very popular athlete. Seems an age ago that he retired. Still looks in pretty good shape. To stay with that. Involved in the medal ceremony for the second time this season. after a disappointing pursuit in Hogfilson, where he dropped from 1st to 15th, missing 3 targets on his last shoot. And a disappointing pursuit yesterday with misses in the stand. He's done a whole lot better today. Johannes Kern, 19 hits out of 20, and he gets a top 6 finish.
And Yuri Hamza there, the IBU Vice President, just giving a little salute to the wonderful performances.
Not quite as little as Martin Fourcade's. Well, this could be an anthem to listen to. Looking forward to this. Part of the COVID regulations to prevent the spread, reduce the amount of singing, don't play the anthem, but you're not going to stop these guys. You're not going to stop 20,000 Frenchmen celebrating a 1-2 in the final biathlon race before Christmas. What a way to go out. You must join us when we head to Oberhof early on in the new year. Oberhof, Ruhpolding, Antolz, the next 3 rounds of the World Cup, known as the Biathlon Trophy, the traditional rounds of the World Cup. Mike, they're going to struggle to match the atmosphere here.
They certainly are, and well, here there are lockdowns beginning there now, so who knows, there may be changes, but I certainly haven't heard anything official, but to match this will be difficult.
Well, it certainly will, and that wraps up our coverage from Le Grand Bornand, just up the road from Annecy. I hope you've enjoyed it. Some of the best racing that we have seen so far this year, and it's the French that have shone, certainly in the men's. Julie Simon doing brilliantly in the women's races as well. But what about Elvira Erberg? A word for the younger of the Erberg sisters, who got her first win this weekend and her second. She did the sprint or the pursuit mass start double. Absolutely outstanding performances from her, and she will certainly be a contender for the overall this season. Both the men and the women's far from decided. Often at this stage of the season there's a 60-point gap between them. Not now. 5 or 6 women could win this year. There are certainly that number of men who all have a chance of lifting the trophy at the end of the season.